Okay.
Hey, good morning. It's Ken Walls. Welcome to Breakthrough Walls. Sorry, we had a little hiccup there with me starting the video. But hey, today I have a very, very dear friend of mine on the show. Her name is Leilani Moore, and I would like to go ahead and bring her on. Leilani, welcome to the show.
Good morning from sunny Beverly Hills, California.
Love it, love it. I've only been to the Beverly Hills one time in my life. And I
Heck,
didn't even see you.
I know, right? I
What
don't
is
know
up
how
with
that
that?
happened.
What is up with that? So, I created this show to help people have a breakthrough. And I was talking to my way smarter wife. She's way smarter than me. And I said, I really think I want to do a show to help people get unstuck. And so we
Yeah,
talked about it, and she goes, "Why don't you call it Breakthrough Walls?" And I'm like,
love that.
"Wow, that's got a nice little ring to it." So this show is about helping people get unstuck, and
That's okay. It's going. That's the facts. We'll be good.
uh, oh, you have a fax machine.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a fax machine in a long time. So with the show is it's literally about people telling their stories to inspire other people to get unstuck. And so let's start with where you were born and raised.
I, Ken, was born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I am the youngest of three. Two brothers, not two brothers, one brother and one sister. And we had an opportunity just to grow. My parents are great. I think for the most part, being in LA and growing up here is different. Like most people, when they meet me, they're thinking, "Oh, you're from LA?" And I say, "Yes, I'm from LA, born and raised." Because I think there's a stigmatism for people that live here in Los Angeles. But I always tell people I'm one of the realest persons that you will ever meet from Los Angeles. They kind of tag us plastic land, but in actuality, there's some really cool people here.
So what's this? You said there's a stigmatism.
Yeah, I mean, I think so many people flock here and come to
Uh,
be successful, want to get into the music industry, or they want to be an actor. Everybody's a model or an actor.
yeah,
And I think that what ends up happening is because there's so many different people coming here that it's hard to really get a good feel about the people that are already living here in Los Angeles.
I
So
got you.
got
Yeah.
to really sort through everything to find the real people.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, I didn't, I was there one day. So that's my only trip to LA ever, like, is that one time. And I mean, I was more like, wow, this is so, like, I just thought it was cool seeing everything that I'd seen on TV forever, right? And it's like, oh
Yes.
my God, there's Hollywood, but it's crazy. So, um, so growing up and did you grow up in Beverly Hills or did you grow up somewhere else in LA?
I actually grew up in Hollywood.
Okay,
My parents moved to Hollywood when I was 7.
okay.
Actually, we still have the same house. So it's been 40 something years, telling my age. So I got the opportunity to grow up in Hollywood, but at the same time, I went to school in North Hollywood, which is kind of in the valley. It's over the hill.
Okay,
So in a sense, I was kind of like a valley girl, as they call us, because I went to school in the valley, and then, but also had that opportunity to still live and do things in Hollywood and then in the Beverly Hills area as well.
So you were like one of those girls that were like, oh, like gag me with a
Like,
spoon.
God, yeah. Yeah,
That's so,
that was us back in the day. Yes. So I
yeah,
had a chance to actually do a little bit of both, which was interesting.
yeah. So you grew up in a wealthy family?
Yeah, I would basically say I was very blessed because my parents were both very big on education. They started out as teachers and eventually became principal and then administrators. But at
Wow.
the same time, when I was very little and I was only a few years old, my parents started buying real estate. So I've been blessed because my family showed me the importance of working hard, but also I saw the entrepreneur side at an early age. So
Yeah.
I would say starting from probably around age 12, some of my Saturdays were spent either washing walls or painting or doing whatever I needed to do to help my family run this business.
Yeah.
So so that was one thing that was really amazing because it gave me that opportunity.
Wow. So, so you started working kind of in the family business at a very young age.
Yes, yes. My Saturdays were spent sometimes that way. And then when I actually got to high school and then to college, I actually moved into one of my parents' buildings and kind of started doing property management.
Oh, wow.
The property management was basically just collecting checks. Like the tenants would bring checks to my door, which was kind of cool because I, kind of fantasized like, wow, they're paying me. This is my money.
Right, right,
And, but the great part about that was that I also had an opportunity to start thinking more like an entrepreneur. So
right.
I would say while I was going to college and I decided, okay, because I was really big in computers. So I decided that, oh, okay, well, I could probably help my mom and dad out. So I started my own painting and hardwood floors business. So
Wow.
that way, what I could do is I could save my parents, of course, money because they wouldn't have to pay these other people. And then they could pay me on time, but actually get the units rented. So I already knew how to paint. But I basically taught myself how to do hardwood floors to refinish.
Oh my gosh. Are you
Yeah.
serious? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you, and that was like, it sounds like you were pretty young.
Yeah. I was about 22. Yeah.
Wow. Good for you.
I was 22 and just had been recently married. And then I had a daughter. So there was all these other things. It's like, okay, got to really like do this school thing, but also, be this entrepreneur. So I kind of started off at an early age and I did it for probably a few years off and on. And then I got hired on at the post office. So
Wow.
so I started working at the post office, but I was still kind of doing the property management and then on the side, still sanding floors and painting.
Wow.
Like
Did you like did you graduate high school in North Hollywood then?
Yes. I
Okay.
graduated from North Hollywood and I started, I went to college at Santa Monica College, which is a very popular junior college here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And I was also doing, I was very good with computers. So I was thinking I was going to be an analyst. Go figure. But, I just was, juggling everything because I had a daughter,
Yeah.
I was helping my parents with the business. And then, when I started working for the post office, I did it for about 6 years. And, I could just tell Ken that it really wasn't for me. And
Wow.
in 1999, I, had a conversation with my grandparents and I said, well, you know what? I think that I'm going to quit my job at the post office. I think I want to just go to school full time and, do this entrepreneur thing.
Yeah.
So they said, okay, that's great. You could do that. Unfortunately, both of my grandparents passed away in 99. My grandfather
Oh.
in January and then my grandmother in December. And I quit my job in like July of 99. So that was a really big time for me. But that was the last time that I had a W-2, 1999.
Wow, look at you.
Mhm.
So you I'm trying to put this so you went to college in Santa Monica?
Yes. I
Okay.
went to Santa Monica College. I took some courses at USC, which is one of my favorite schools. And
Uh-huh.
then I finally, while I'm still going to school and doing all these things, I finally got my degree at CSUN, which is Cal State University Northridge. And
Wow.
that was in 2010. So I,
Oh,
it
wow.
was still like juggling like so
Wow.
many, yeah.
So you were
So
on the 10-year plan.
I was on the
Or
get it
so.
when you finish it plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right. So what's your degree in?
I have it in, actually in liberal arts.
Oh, nice. It's back there behind you.
Right there. Uh-huh.
Nice.
From, because in between with doing the property management, I was taking courses. I took a entrepreneurship course at UCLA. So I was still just getting new things and learning more things along the way as far as the business is concerned, which was very exciting.
Right. So, and I went to the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely there. It's the
Yeah.
best place ever. They
It's
actually
really cool.
did it. Yeah, because about 10 or 15 years ago, we had a really bad storm. So they rebuilt it. So it's
Oh,
really nice now. Yeah, because it was damaged from one of our storms.
yeah, that's as far as we went. We went down to Santa Monica and went to the pier, and I'm like, oh my God, didn't Sheryl Crow sing about this? And
Yeah.
and so we had dinner on. There's a restaurant all the way at the end of the pier. We had dinner there and looked out over the ocean. It's beautiful. But
Yes.
so here you are in your early 20s. You're going to college. You have a daughter. You're newly married, and you're sanding floors.
Yes. No more calluses. They're gone.
Right.
But I
So
had
you,
music.
wow. So you got a lot. Um, somebody, Eric Cornelius, who's always, he's like, everybody has a bookshelf. I need one.
I
Wow.
have a bunch of
So,
books.
so, so okay, I'm trying to piece all this together. So you have a daughter, you have this new marriage. You got a lot going on, a lot,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So what happened next in your journey?
Well, I kind of skipped some things in between when I jumped to the 2010. I actually got remarried in 2004.
Oh
Um,
wow,
although I had a lot of challenges because my first child, my daughter, has Crohn's disease. So
oh
anyone that's familiar with Crohn's disease, it deals with your digestive tract. And
yeah,
um, at an early age, I had to make some real life-changing decisions for her, which was very hard for me because she was going to have infusions, and she was only about 9 or 10 years old.
wow,
And they were saying she needed to use these infusions, but they hadn't really been used with children. They had only been done with adults. So
wow,
there's this nervousness there. So I was kind of dealing with that um, for quite a while. But needless to say, she's healthy and she's doing well. But before that, I had eventually in 2004 got remarried and had my son in 2006. So now
wow,
2 kids.
wow, wow. Okay.
So I kind of skipped on that.
All right, all right, all right.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, along the way, because I mean, look, everybody knows that LA is where you go if you want to be a movie star, or you want to get into music, or like it's the kind of the mecca for at least the movie industry. Or the TV and film. But
Mhm.
did you ever have any aspirations about doing any of that?
I actually, because I'm so tall, Ken, when I was about 14 years old, I started modeling, actually. I modeled for about 3 or 4 years,
Yeah.
but I got out of it because okay, don't hate me for this, but I have a brain. And back then, they didn't treat you like you had a brain. You
Right.
know, I had done some work but I just felt like I wanted to be treated like I was a real whole person. I mean, I think I hope it's more different now, a little different. But at that time, this would have been in the early 80s. This would have been 83 to 87.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have much respect for us. You were basically an object, and that just wasn't going to work for me. So if
Yeah,
something
no.
doesn't jive with me, it's like, I'm done. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, no, I get that. So
Yeah.
what are some of the along the way though? I mean, because I know you pretty well. You're a good friend of mine. We've had some really in-depth conversations, and along the way, what are some of the challenges or obstacles that you've faced that you were like, oh God, I'm not getting through this. Like, what are some of the things that you faced that you had to figure out a way to get through it?
Well, I would say the first thing was the issue with my daughter, the challenge with her illness,
Yeah,
because I'd always been very healthy. This
yeah.
was something that I wasn't familiar with. And when I actually had my daughter, she was actually a preemie. She was actually born at 28 weeks, and she only weighed 2.2 pounds. So she had a lot of work to do. So when she was born, like a month later, we had the Northridge earthquake, and my daughter was still in the hospital.
Oh wow.
Uh, that was a challenge because, when the earthquake happened, everything was falling apart. Even the freeway next to the hospital had fallen.
Wow.
So I was a nervous wreck until I got to that hospital, so I saw my daughter. And just that, when I look back now, that was the beginning of some challenges that I was actually going to have to face and get through. My mom was always the type of person where she would say, and God rest her soul, sometimes things are going to happen to you for you to learn. Sometimes you really have to look and see, okay, well, what am I supposed to learn from this situation as opposed to just diving in? And so for many years, that's what I would do. I would more so just dive into something, not really seeing what the message is.
Right.
So I would say with my challenges, learning over time that don't really look at it as a challenge, just look and see what is the lesson that I'm supposed to be learning from that so that I could step back and really focus and then push myself, through that.
Sure. Sure.
I think for me, a lot of my challenges, I think that my mindset has always been that I had to do so many different things. I didn't realize it. When I worked at the post office, I had a job where I had actually 5 jobs, like 5 different jobs.
Wow.
So, when I first signed up, they had this job that came up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need regular hours. It was banker's hours. I said, I don't care what the job says. I want it. I didn't even read. I didn't even read to know exactly what I needed to do.
Wow.
Job, but finding out later that I had 5 jobs. So I was a cashier. I was the P.O. box person. I was the closing supervisor. It was like 5 different jobs. So I was getting
Wow.
paid just like someone else that was just a cashier.
Yeah.
So, over time I realized and understood that, okay, can have a lot put on me, but at the same time, I can manage it.
Yeah.
And managing is just knowing that if I take my time and look and see what the message is, then I can overcome it and go through it. And I think for the most part, can just always believe in that there's a better place. There's another place that I'm trying to get to, regardless of what my current situation is.
Right.
I'm looking past that and saying, okay, this is going to be my end result. So as long as I keep taking these steps every day, I'm going to finally reach that end result, if that makes sense.
It does, and I think that and again, I know you pretty well, so I know that you have that lioness, like I'll do whatever it takes to get it done, and I think along the way, and again, I don't know the exact timeline or age or whatever, and that doesn't even really matter that much. But along the way, I think in life we all get to that place where we look back and we go, yeah, I was stuck there, and now I know why I was stuck. Have you ever had that epiphany? Like you're
Yes.
like I get it now. Like I know why I was stuck there. What are some of the examples you've like looked back and you're like, okay, I know what kept me stuck.
So, and my famous mentor, Danelle Delgado, I love her so much. She's great.
She's
Um,
amazing.
she made this statement one time and we were having a conversation. I'm sure everyone's heard this one before. It's like the lesson is going to keep repeating itself until you get it.
Right.
And when I started this entrepreneurial journey, per se, a newer journey
Yeah.
with a little more guidance with a mentor and with other people that I could come up with,
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I didn't value myself. I didn't have self-worth. I didn't realize, even though I was juggling and doing all these things, I was so in the moment that I wasn't even realizing how much worth I really did have. And so that started with me about a couple of years ago after really soul searching and realizing that, okay, I am this great person. I do have these amazing skills. I can do, this, that, and the other, just like the next person.
Yeah.
So I would say for me, that was the first time that I realized that I needed to deal with that and understand that I am worth something. And after doing some research and soul searching and doing the inner child thing, I went back in my childhood and realized where there was a point in time where someone said something to me and it stuck with me.
Yeah.
I had been carrying that for 34 years.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
And
It
how
just,
it and how that steals from you.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. So,
And when
and I'm not saying you're crazy. I'm saying we all go through that, right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
We all
Yeah.
have that happen.
Yes.
Wow. Lisa Marie Kennedy is on here. She's amazing.
I
Yeah.
love Lisa. I love
Sandy
you.
McNichol. We have Elise Caphart, some amazing people.
Oh.
So, so you've hit these obstacles in life, and the biggest thing for you is you've seen where you just didn't believe in yourself or value yourself enough to push through it or figure it out, right? So
Yeah.
so
Yeah. And I would say too, another epiphany that happened was that I realized that I wasn't putting myself around people that were higher than I was. So I was like putting myself in a comfortable space, but I was never challenging myself to put myself around people that were, higher than I was. So then
right.
that made it really easy to kind of maneuver because I really didn't feel any pressure. I already felt like I was the big dog. When in actuality, I really was the puppy.
Right, right. Yeah, I get it. And
Yeah.
I think that, and it takes some humility to even say, people were higher than I was, because, I've seen some very arrogant people that like look at and we'll look at Grant Cardone and go, he's no better than I am. Okay, I mean, maybe we're all gonna die and whatever, but like, dude, he's got like $500 million and you don't. Like, so, and I'm not saying that that's the gauge. I'm just saying, like, there are people that have made it further in life, right? And we've got to learn to, and my buddy Chris Saraceno, he was on the show. He wrote a book. I have it right here, I think. Yeah, called The Theory of Five. And it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. And so how has that played a major role for you in life?
Now, I definitely have to talk about that, and I definitely have to shout out Grant Cardone and Elena because they are amazing. I've had the opportunity to talk with Grant and as well as Elena, And, and that's of course through Danelle and through other people that I've known that I had that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it has really changed my life. Like, for example, they were actually here last year for an event, for the Driven event for Albert Preciado.
Yeah.
And, so I happened to go to the event and I saw Elena and Grant and we were walking, and I'll never forget. That was one thing where that was totally like changed my life that day. Was walking with Elena and Grant, and this was right after the hurricane had happened in Florida. We were chit-chatting and talking, and this was where I was still kind of not really sure of myself. And I said, I really could crush this LA market, and I said something like to the point where I could really do this market, I guess because Grant's not here, right? I say that while I'm walking next to Grant, and Elena and Grant like, you could crush it anyway, whether I'm here or not. And I was like, okay. But just for him to say that to me, I was like, yeah, like, why are you still doubting your skills? Why are you doubting all of the knowledge that you have? Because when I end up talking to people, and a lot of people that I've networked recently within the last 5 or 6 months, they're mesmerized by all the, information that I have, and they want to work with me. So when you have the opportunity to be around people that are going to support you, it makes a world of difference. Because now when I talk to people, they're like, huh? You talk to who? And I was like, yeah. And I said, and when you put yourself in that space, you don't want to not be in that space anymore. You want to make sure that you can still grow and elevate with these other giants.
Right.
And so that is really important. So if you have an opportunity to be around someone that you know is in your field, then do it. But at the same time, you want to make sure you set yourself apart. Don't be a copycat. Like, have something about you that sets you apart from everybody else so that you can elevate at a different level.
Amen. Preach it. I love that, because it's true. Again, there's so many people that don't read books, or they don't attend events where they can learn from the greats like Grant Cardone and some of these other amazing people, and then they wonder why they stay stuck in life, and the greats, including Grant Cardone, including Tony Robbins, including all these massive, massive people, like, they constantly are learning more and more and more, right? And I know that, those books up there behind you you've read them. And I know that about you. I know how you are. So, as you have gone through life thus far, looking back over your life, who is the, and all the way back into childhood, who's the most influential person of your life? Who's influenced you the most to become who you are as an adult?
So I would definitely say my parents, my mother and my father.
Okay.
My mom actually passed away about 3.5 years ago, so it was an adjustment for me. But I would say my parents, because as my grandmother would always tell my mom when she was young, she was like, baby, don't be common. Meaning, don't be common. Don't be like everybody else. Be different.
Right.
Be different. And my mom was always one to instill that with me, that you can be whoever you want to be. It doesn't matter what your skin color is or what gender you are. She's like, nobody's better than you.
Right.
Nobody's better than you. And so by working with them and them trusting this business with me, I didn't realize how much value I was really getting, from my parents. So I have to definitely say my parents, because they were very inspirational, and at the same time, they were hard on me. There was times when I wasn't a good kid in high school.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I turned out pretty good.
You did.
My dad, thank God, he's still alive, and his birthday is actually next week. So I'm going to say my parents for sure.
That's awesome.
I know that I wouldn't be on this track if it wasn't for them. And my brother and sister are not in the business. They are traditional 9-to-5ers. So they don't do the business at all. They don't have any interest in it. And by being the youngest, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, they're 8 and 9 years older than I am, so.
That's pretty amazing, actually. Yeah. So, so your parents have had the greatest impact in your life. Like, what are some of the greatest values that they instilled in you that are benefiting you today?
Well, I know for a fact the work ethics.
Yeah.
I was very good at the computer. I actually have a side doctorate. I helped my
What?
dad write his. Well, I don't really have one, but my dad says I do. I do. I helped
Oh,
my dad write his doctorate back in 1987, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I don't care what anybody says. You have a doctorate," but I don't really have one. It's just in spirit.
yeah.
But I would say for that, they instilled that in me, and also reading the importance of reading books. I would say in 2016, when I had the opportunity to attend a Ty Lopez event here in Hollywood,
Yeah.
Ty Lopez got me on this reading kick where I was just picking up whatever I could find, and I was reading about 12 to 15 books a month, and,
Wow.
and then making sure that I could instill that information and actually use it. And that's how I ended up eventually meeting Danelle, which would have been in August of 2016. So
Wow.
yes, my parents were big on education. They were big on reading, going out for exactly what you want to do, and no limits,
Right.
no limits.
That's incredible. That's incredible. So you, wow. Okay. I mean, you've experienced so much, and again, I know you so well, and I know, like, your spirit you're just one of the kindest, most loving people that I know on this planet. And, I
And
mean, you really genuinely care about other people, and that's one of the things I love about you the most. You really do.
yeah, at the end of the day, Ken, like, I love people. I want to inspire. I'm always texting people, sending them messages like, "Are you journaling? Do you journal? Say your I am statements." I'm always mentoring people, and it just makes me feel happy. It makes me feel good to spread that love and that energy to other people, because there's not many people that do that in the world, and it's really important. If we're gonna make a change in this world, everybody has to start caring. Like my parents say, it takes a village.
Yeah.
That's what it comes from for me. My parents have shown me it takes a village, and I'm willing to work the village out in every way, shape, or form that I can do it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, what are some of the things that you're doing now? What are you? I mean, I know you're still in the real estate business, right?
Yeah.
Talk to me about what's Leilani do on a day-to-day basis.
Well, I am still doing the property management of my family's properties.
Yeah.
I am in the process of also moving them over to a management company, because I am focusing more now on buying more real estate and doing investing and doing some development deals with some investors. So, and a little more of asset management rather than property management, because for my day to day, I was managing 50 units all by myself. And then I was the one that needed to do everything. There is no company. I am the company. So I, was losing a lot of time having to go to meet repairmen and doing all those things. And that's not going to serve me anymore. So
Right.
Now it's just a matter of finding the right management company to take over the buildings so that I can focus more on the investments.
So you're doing. I mean, obviously the property management, but you're also doing some real estate investing.
Real estate investing and asset management. Yes. And asset management is basically just managing the management company, because anyone that knows real estate, or maybe some people don't know, management companies, they will start out with a low monthly percentage of the rents, but
Yeah.
they make their money on the repairs.
Wow.
And if you don't know how things work, they can get you.
Yeah.
That's where I come in with the asset management and make sure that they are not gaming you. Make sure they're, charging you correctly. I mean, I know it's a business, but if you don't know any better, they'll just send any number out. And if you don't know how much it costs to paint an apartment or how much to snake a drain, you could get beat.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So with the and I know aren't you doing some, like, I know you're doing some mentoring, and are you doing some coaching as well?
I am doing some coaching. It's on a more spiritual aspect, but yes, I am doing some business coaching. Yes.
That's awesome. How's that going?
Yes. It's going really well. I have a couple of new clients, and I'm really excited because I think I have a few more that'll be coming on next month. So I'm really excited about that.
That's awesome. So with the people that reach out to you, I know that people reach out to you. You're a leader, and you just have that energy, so people are naturally drawn to you. And so when you get these people that are stuck, like what do you think, in your opinion, what is the number one thing that keeps people stuck in their stuff so they can't move forward, become successful, be happy? What do you think the number one thing is for people?
And I guess a lot of times it just happens that way because usually whatever your issue is, those same people are going to be drawn to you. So a lot of the people that have been drawn to me have issues with self-worth, which was my thing. I don't believe in myself. I can't do it. They can't, a lot of that is happening. But of course that makes sense for me because that was my issue. And I didn't even realize it until I really did the research. So I have a lot of people that are coming to me with that. And that's why I'm very diligent about checking up on them, making sure, sending little messages. And it's amazing because they have no idea I'm going to reach out to them. And I'm, oh my gosh, you don't know how that message touched me. I really needed that today.
Wow.
And I feel like that's my intuition telling me reach out to this person.
So you find that a lot of people just don't believe in themselves, and you help them reach down in and find that.
Figure it out so that they know that they do have value and worth. And a lot of times, and for me, I realized that, my second marriage was more of a manipulative type relationship.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that till I got out of it.
Right.
And so I think a lot of times, the way our energies work, you're going to like attracts like. So if you're not feeling, you're going to attract that one that's going to, possibly take advantage of you and then make you feel less.
Right.
Less. So.
Yeah. Wow. So you, as you're doing this thing, I mean, and I don't know if you've ever been where I'm getting ready to describe, but I have. I'm a recovered alcoholic of 16 years. It's like before that, man, I was off the hook. And so, like, have you ever been in a position where you can't pay the electric bill, or you can't, like, you don't know where, like, oh God, how am I going to feed my kids? Or you don't know, oh, there's Deb Ballinger. She just joined us. Hey, Deb. I love Deb.
Oh my God.
She's one of my favorite people in the world too.
I love it.
So, like, have you, ever been in that position? And have you ever had somebody, like, reach out to you and say, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I can't pay my bills. I can't do, blah, 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 blah. Have you ever been there?
I have been there, Ken. I have been in situations where, my account, had a lot of numbers in it, but it was a minus in front of it.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, okay, and that's where I was saying earlier, where sometimes you might be in a situation, but you can't focus so much on that situation right now. You got to keep pushing through, because if you sit there and look at it and, you'll end up going down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
So you have to try and just know that, okay, I see it's that way, but I'm working, I'm doing A, B, C, and D to get me out of that. So yes, I definitely have been in that space, and it is not a comfortable space. And I think that's the amazing thing about being where I am, because I've seen both sides of the spectrum, and a lot of it is just mindset too, because on my mom's side of the family, they had money when my mom was young. On
Yeah.
my dad's side of the family, they did not. Um, my mom's family, my grandmother used to put fruit in my mom's drawers to make their clothes smell good.
Wow.
And she had her own bedroom and everything. But on my dad's side of the family, my dad never had his own bedroom. He never had his own bedroom until he got married.
Right,
So
right.
I had a chance to see both sides. And, but I realized that you can have that scarcity mindset, but you got to think abundance, because if you think so much about the scarcity mindset, you're going to stay in it and you're going to sit in it,
Yeah.
which, is not fun.
Right.
So I definitely have been there, and I just try and encourage them. And I say, do the best you can, because sometimes you got to do whatever you got to do to pay the bills. I've been an Uber driver. I'll say it. I don't have shame.
Yeah.
'Cause at the time, that's what I needed. And I was probably making about $700 extra a week. So, you know,
There's always a way. Something can
mhm,
always be done about your situation. And I love that about you. And I wasn't going to bring up the Uber thing, but I remember, and I'm like, you told me about that. I was like, what? And you're like, yeah, I'm just making some extra money and stacking cash and getting things. And I'm like, that is, years ago, I was sitting in this friend of mine's office. He was a client of mine. I did his website and stuff, and he's a very wealthy, very very wealthy financial planner.
mhm.
And he's like, so how's business? And I go, it's all right. I'm getting by. It's blah blah blah. And I started whining a little bit. And he said, dude, there is a guy right here in Columbus, Ohio, that makes $1 million a year picking up dog shit out of other people's yards. Like,
Oh,
I go, what? What? He goes, there. He's picking up dog crap, man. He's making $1 million a year picking up dog poop. Like, there's no excuse for you. Like, I don't want to hear it. Go figure it out, man. Make more calls. Do whatever it takes. But like, get yourself out of that mindset of there's limitations and right, and that's
right.
the biggest, that I think that's one of the biggest challenges people have is there. We have this programming from wherever. It doesn't even matter where it's from. It could be parents, it could be siblings, teachers, whatever. But
Yeah.
people get into that mindset of there's limitations to what I can accomplish, what I can do, and how much I can accumulate and all of that,
Right.
right? And you've been there,
Hmm.
right?
Yes, I've been there. I've been there. And then I was just like, woo, how did I do that? And I said, I did it. I was like,
Yeah,
if I can do this, I can get through anything.
that's it. That's it. And I've
Hmm.
heard Grant Cardone say it. Like, his biggest regret in life is he didn't think big enough sooner,
Right. Hmm.
right?
Right.
So once you
Yes.
realize that we're all capable of being billionaires, if you want to be, we're all capable of being unbelievably happy. We're all blessed with the same 24 hours every day.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I totally believe that. And it's important because, and I think too, that's for me, it's like, I've had so many people say, "Oh my God, you're so lucky," or I had some gentleman, we were talking and I was networking with a couple of people, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're one of those trust babies," and I was like, "Excuse me, one of those trust babies?" I was like, "No, I'm not a trust baby. Like I've had an opportunity to learn some things, but I had to put in the work. Like I've had like tenants pass away on me. I mean, or been working till 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. Like who does that? Trust babies don't do that."
No.
But then I had to reel myself back in, Ken, and I was like, okay, what do you learn from this statement that this person made?
Right.
And
Exactly.
I had to reel back, and I was like, okay, all right, I get it. And I said, and I'm fine with it. But of course, I'm not working with him. That was
Yeah.
an easy decision. But because when people have a thought process about you and just assume things about you, that's not going to be somebody that's going to be a good fit for me to work with.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, and I think that again, I don't, I didn't grow up in any kind of money at all, and all I know is you work. If you're gonna have it, you got to work and work your butt off for it, and that's one of the things I love about you is you just You just do whatever it takes to make it. You do that, and so I know that you've got a lot of things going on, but what are your big plans? What's coming up for you?
So, right now I'm looking at a building because right now the market in LA is like super crazy, super.
The
And
real estate, you mean?
the real estate is
Yeah.
really, I know that, Amazon is building one of their headquarters here in LA, in downtown LA. So of course that's going to mean a whole bunch of jobs.
Right.
Some things that they're doing here because of the metro. So a lot of people are buying up the properties and then tearing the houses down so they can build, big monstrosities.
Yeah.
So I've been looking out of the state. I'm looking at a building in Texas that's about 108 units. So I'm looking at that. And then I'm also, looking at doing a partnership with another investor, who really looks at, different areas, low income areas where people try and come in and do the whole gentrification thing.
Yeah.
And stops that. He stops it by going in and actually teaching the homeowners everything that he can teach them so that they can stay in their homes. So I'm really excited about partnering with him because that's giving opportunities to people that don't know anything about real estate.
Right.
And would like just take the money and then go somewhere else and probably not even know where they could move to. So I'm focusing on both of those right now, and then doing more with my spiritual business mentoring, because I think that's going to take me to a whole nother level as well. So those are the main things right now that I'm focusing on. And I homeschool my son too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
juggle quite a few things.
You got a lot going on. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in massive expansion mode.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
Yes.
I love
And
that.
eventually I'm going to start doing some triple net properties as well, not just multifamily, because that has always been my biggest dream. When my parents sold this other building back in 2010, we were going to sell that building and buy a triple net property, which is like, a Walgreens. Like that's my goal, to own a Best Buy. So
Yeah.
it's actually not owning the Best Buy, it's just owning the building.
Right.
Because yes, the triple net properties are amazing. If people don't know about the triple nets, don't sleep on them. They're just as amazing. And then there's no issue with tenants. They
Right.
just pay everything. Yes.
Right. Right. That's awesome. Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
sounds like and one of the things again I see, talking when you're talking about all of the different things that you're doing, your eyes just lit up when you started talking about helping people, and that's just who you are. Like when you're saying, we're going to partner on this and go in and teach homeowners what they need to know because they don't know right now and they could be making a big mistake, and you're like that's what's driving you. I can see it,
Mm-hmm.
and that's amazing.
Yeah, that's like I said, I know when I was young, I said I wanted to be a teacher, but I think I'm gonna be a teacher, but in a different, not a teacher in a classroom necessarily, a teacher of people, a teacher of life, a teacher of how you should be living as opposed to how our society is teaching us how to live.
Right.
Because there's a big difference.
I love it. I love it. So anybody out there watching right now, once this goes out on Binge Networks TV, it's syndicated out to 4 or 5 million people. So anybody that's going to see this, that may be in whatever similar situation, or maybe they're stuck right now and they don't know what to do. What's the number one first thing that you could tell them to help them get through whatever's going on, to help them get unstuck, to move them forward in life?
I would say the first thing they're going to need to do is actually sit down and prioritize. Like first, wait, let me take that back. Before you even do that, you need to pray or meditate, because it depends on which you prefer. Because some people don't like to say meditate. So I would say first you need to find you a quiet space and actually take some time to like close your mind off from everything else and really focus and figure out exactly what it is you want, what it is you need to do, and write those things down. Write those things down, and then set yourself a plan. Set a plan for you. You know, I do reflection Sundays. On Sundays, I look back of my week to see what I did, to see what worked, what didn't, what do I need to change. And then I start planning for the next week. And I just set little small things, 2 or 3 things each day that I have to do before I go to bed. And if someone starts a plan like that, before they know it, they're going to hit their goals like that. And then they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I did that so fast. I should set another goal.
I love it. I love it. So like, how does, everybody watching that's not following you already, which I know a lot of people follow you, but how does everybody find you? How do they follow you? Where are you, most active?
I'm actually really active on my Instagram, 3Leilani3, but I also do have my own website, which is LeilaniMoore.com. So they could find me either place or on Facebook.
And is all of your social media on your website?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. So if you're not already following Leilani Moore, follow this girl. She is absolutely amazing. Leilani and I have run into each other several times over the last couple of years, and every time we get a selfie, don't we?
Time, yeah.
Like I've started to walk away. It's all right, bye. We'll see you later. And she's like, "Wait a minute, we didn't get a selfie." So I don't even know how many selfies I have of you and I, but it's a bunch. So
Yes.
I love you. You're like a sister to me. I mean, I just adore you. I think the world of you. And I hope a lot of people follow you, because I have a feeling there are some really, really big things coming for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, it is. And I love you to death, Ken. And I can't wait to come and visit, because I want to get us a selfie with Jill.
Yeah.
Add that in there.
That's right. Come on out. We got room. Come on out and visit. The door's always open. You can come out in the winter and build a snowman.
Yes, my son, that's what I was thinking when I said that. I was like, oh, I don't know. And I know my son will be like, yes. And I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's nice though. It's nice to have the different, although this past winter we just moved back from Vegas, and I was like, is this winter going to end in Ohio, for the love? I mean, it was ridiculous, but it was nice. It was a nice change. So, well, Leilani, listen, I appreciate you coming on, taking the time out of your busy schedule and being on the show. And I really appreciate you. I love you.
Oh, thank you for having me, Ken. And I hope everybody has a fantastic transformational Tuesday.
That's it. That's it. And everybody on Facebook, thank you for all of the shares, the loves, the likes, the hearts, the crying laugh faces, everything. Leilani is literally frozen laughing right now on screen. That's amazing. So listen, I appreciate each and every one of you, and we will see all of you tomorrow. Have a great day.